Hey, everybody, welcome back. So I had a really interesting conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he said, I miss the days when people were terrified when they said the United States was coming to war, when they were terrified of our soldiers. And I laughed and I gave him an explanation of why it used to be this way. And I'll be breaking that down for you today. Welcome back to the Green Eyed Girl podcast, Political Hellscape.
Let's go!
When my friend posed this topic, I just kind of started laughing. So part of this is my husband and I are in the middle, or well, we just finished, but at the time we were in the middle of watching the show 1883. Tyler Sheridan show. It's a lead up to Yellowstone, and it's fantastic. So we're watching this show, and it really puts perspective on how crazy the men of this country are. Right. And I mean crazy in the best way, right? These are men who had a dream and a vision, and they're going to fight and die for it. And it's the women who are going to die with them and follow them into hell. Okay. We've lost that in this day and age. That's like our society is broken. Our military, I'm hoping, is on the rebound now that we have Trump in, but it's chock full of gays and trannies, and they're all filming these videos where they're in uniform and they're men wearing heels. And what the hell? No one's scared of that. It's laughable. It's laughable. I don't appreciate it. I have a very long history of military men in my family. My husband was in the Army National Guard. His brother was in the Navy. My brother was a Marine. My uncle was a 32-year career Marine. My dad was a Marine. My uncle was in the Navy. My grandfather was in the Navy. You name it. I have had men in my family who have been willing to fight for this country. So it's very disturbing to me to see what's happened to the military. Now, what I was trying to explain to my friend and what he was referring to, when the Germans found out we were coming to World War One and World War Two, their letters that they wrote home were hilarious. Like the lore of the American soldier of, I hear when you die they cut out your heart and eat it, take your power and take your soul. I mean, just they were terrified. Like people used to be terrified when they found out the United States was going to come to war. And my friend was saying he misses those days and he really isn't sure what went wrong. Well, part of why they were terrified of us, let's see, we killed our own countrymen to break free to start our own government. That's kind of wild, really. We were mad about a lack of representation, so we literally killed our countrymen to take this nation. And then we turned around and we fought with the same people all over again in 1812. And then we turned around very shortly after that to kill each other. We had a brutal, vicious civil war that pitted brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor. And it didn't wreck our country. We actually came out of it and got stronger and became an economic powerhouse. That's wild. That's wild if you look back at history. All right, so the Revolutionary War ended in 1783, and we turned right back around to fight the British again in 1812, as if we didn't have enough problems, right? So that's like 30 years. And then we go from that, the end of the War of 1812 was in 1815, and then we go into a civil war in 1861, so 46 years, and we're killing each other to change our nation, to keep it together. All while, by the way, we're expanding westward, right? So people are on the Oregon Trail from 1846 to 1869. It was the major westward expansion. Obviously, that actually went all the way through until 1912 when we were more settled. But the railways were built by 1869. So we're conquering the land still while killing each other and building an economic powerhouse country. That's a lot going on, and that's something you don't see. And if you go and you watch a show like 1883, you see what they're battling because it's not just people, it's the land itself is trying to kill you. It's unfathomable, especially in our day-to-day life, all of the inconveniences, things we hate about our life. And then you think about traveling across the land in a wagon on horseback, fighting people and the wilderness that's trying to kill you, just so that you can make a life or have hope of a life. And then World War One begins in 1914. Is it any wonder why people were shaking in their boots when they found out that the wild Americans are coming to show up? We seem crazy to the rest of the world. We fight and die for everything. That's what our men did. So they were absolutely shaking in their boots when we showed up to World War One. Of course, we show up to World War One and we helped burn the mofo down. The United States did so much destruction in World War One. Of course, we helped rebuild, right? And then we turn right back around in World War Two, and the whole world's suffering. I mean, the depression's wrecked everybody. It's not just us. Everybody's wrecked. But World War Two starts, and we're trying to stay out of it. We really are. We've fought for other people because our country was really wholly unaffected outside of sending our men. We probably could have stayed out of it, but we went, helped everybody, and we're trying to rebuild. We're trying our very best to come out of the depression, and then we get bombed, drug into the whole thing. And the Germans are terrified. We had to kick their ass once in the last 30 years, and here we are coming right back. But I discussed in the last episode I posted about what happens to good men when you go to fight injustice and end up allowing more injustice to happen. Men aren't inclined to come fight for you anymore. Men aren't inclined to go to war on behalf of things anymore because, well, they told us we were coming to fight for this injustice and destroy this injustice, and then we just watched it happen all over again. What's the point? The difference 60 years makes, guys. 60 years into this country, we fought a revolution in the War of 1812, and we're expanding westward. 60 years from the Civil War, we've already been through a world war, and we're coming up on another. We're in a Great Depression. And then 60 years after World War II was 2001, and we've been in Vietnam, Korea, Desert Storm, and then we send good men off based on lies to fight and die again in another war that would go on for 20 years. And then we leave everything behind again. Is it any wonder that we don't have an army that people are terrified of anymore? It took one generation to go from armies that people wrote home in terror about to now. One generation. Now, the bright side of that is if we stop fighting all of these unjust wars, maybe in one generation we can have completely turned it around again. What difference is the next 60 years going to make? Because frankly, we were the wild men of the world. We had the wild men of the world, the men who could not be contained, who fought and died in the wilderness of this country just at a shot of making a life, who people wrote home about to express how scared they were to fight on a battlefield, to now when all we ever do is go to war for no good reason, and good men don't want to sign up anymore, and I don't blame them. If we stop sending our men to war for no good reason, we might just end up having men that when they do have to go to war, when it's really a true necessity, have men quaking in their boots riding home about how terrified they are that the Americans are coming. We need to bring back that America, that American fighting spirit. We've laid down, we got soft, we fought too many unjust wars. We don't even know what we're fighting for anymore other than lining the pockets of people in Washington. We've conquered land. Let's go back to conquering things. Let men be men. Let's let them explore. Wild, unruly men. They built the world. Other nations had them too. The United States is just the most recent example of it. Because really, 250 years, that's not that long. See what we can do with the next 60. Find something to do other than blow the crap out of each other for no good reason and send good men to die for no good reason. Let's bring back the conquering spirit when it comes to nature and exploration.